Central Baltimore is receiving a facelift, and joining us today to tell us more is Joseph McNeely, Executive Director of Central Baltimore Partnership. Welcome.
Thank you very much.
Tell me what's happening with the makeover in Central Baltimore, and when you talk about Central Baltimore, what neighborhoods are you looking at?
Central Baltimore is the area from the train station and University of Baltimore and Micah on the south to the Johns Hopkins main campus on the north. It's 10 neighborhoods and the Waverly Main Street area, several commercial areas. It's an area that has in some ways been overlooked, but has got terrific assets in that it has got a very, very successful arts district, the first in the state that's been recognized both regionally and nationally. It has the train station and regional transit and easy connection to downtown. It has three very vital, exciting and growing universities. And it has a lot of vacant land, and so it has the opportunity for development of fairly large projects while supporting homeownership in row house neighborhoods without displacing or relocating or acquiring property now owned or lived in by people who are already there and have been there a while.
So what are some of the ongoing projects and projects to come in the future?
Well, one of our most recent that you might have seen very recently is the Chesapeake Restaurant is reopened near the train station. That's a project in which the city and state and an incredibly exciting young entrepreneur have created a remarkable recreation of an old Baltimore icon. The former LeBeau clothing factory has become the Baltimore Design School. The property in Barclay, around Barclay and 20th Street, is undergoing an exciting complete rebuild into a mixed income, mixed use community. The area around Hopkins has got a new project at 33rd and St. Paul, which will be a major new large, dense development, and several exciting lower density activities in Remington. In fact, in some ways, Remington is becoming the next hot new neighborhood in Baltimore.
Wow. Okay, so what are some of the greatest challenges when it comes to revitalizing neighborhoods? I think people hear revitalization, they think, oh, you're kicking me out, I'm going to be displaced, but that's not the case.
Well, I think we've been lucky in Central Baltimore to bring together all of the parties that have a stake in the community. Neighborhood organizations, resident groups, major property owners, developers, the city agencies, the universities, and the plan for the area has bubbled up from a composite of individual plans in individual neighborhoods. So the residents feel they have a great stake in what's happening, and they've set the goals for what goes forward. And because of the vacancy that's there, there's an opportunity without removing people. Now, it was always a challenge to build a mixed income, diverse community and sustain it in Baltimore. And that's the future of this community. It is already one of the most diverse communities. I think it has a terrific opportunity to be that over the long run.
How do you decide which communities to revitalize? Because there's so many neighborhoods, so many communities that are saying we are hurting for some help here, for some revitalization.
Now, I think that's one of the most difficult propositions in the planning, because you've got to build from strength. You've got to build from assets. It's hard to rebuild a community from the sense of urgent need and pain. Pain motivates, but it is hard to create a market in some neighborhoods. We are looking in our communities for the strengths that appeal to a regional market. We think the city is attracting more young people who are, and we've been lucky in that demographic. In the last census, we grew in the 25 to 40-year-old age group, and the new developments around the train station are going to emphasize that kind of rental that appeals to the young, and that's the critical decision-making age. People move to the city when they're 25, when they settle, have a family, buy a home, they're going to work from and choose where they've been already. So we know what our assets are. I think it's very challenging to communities in need to have to step back from the need and think about what do we have that really appeals to, and to whom does it appeal in the larger regional market.
So if someone is in a neighborhood where they've got a great block, you've got a lot of these places in Baltimore where great block, a lot of vacancies, people keep up their property, others don't. If they're in one of these neighborhoods and they want to improve it overall, how do they reach out? How do they get the help they need to change it?
Well, I think it starts by a process of block-by-block organizing. People have got to be cohesive, and then they've got to work with the resources that the city and the state and direct community organizing can bring to that kind of process, putting pressure on people that aren't good neighbors, that don't live up to standards, speculative landlords, working with the city's vacant to value and code enforcement program around these spotty blocks. We, in each of our neighborhoods, have a clear property disposition plan for city-owned property. We've gone after landlords that are not playing by the rules. We will be your best ally if you're progressive and want to follow the neighborhood plan, but if you're holding us back, we're your worst enemy. And we'll bring every kind of pressure to bear we can.
Okay, we're about out of time. How can people reach out to you and get in touch with your office?
The easiest way is through our website, centralbaltimore.org, or our phone number 410-244-1775. Or you can show up at the Governor's Housing Conference and meet us and everybody else. It's a great meeting place. The state resources that the Secretary talked about a few minutes ago have been incredibly important to us in getting momentum in the Central Baltimore area.
And that housing conference takes place?
On Friday the 27th at the Hilton in downtown Baltimore, and it's a great exchange place.
Great. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Lisa.
Coming up next, Sarah Caldwell speaks to the Maryland Food Bank about their desperate need to feed the hungry. Stay with us. You're watching 11 TV Hill.